podcast with Victor Pacheco. Hello and welcome to Poppycock Podcast with your host, Victor Pacheco. We got a really great show for y'all today with a very special guest, a really funny guy I met in San Francisco, originally from the Bay, killing it here in Southern California. He is the roast battle champion. You've seen him on the Showtime documentary about the Comedy Store. He is a Comedy Store regular, and he's my homie. I want you to give it up for my man, Mr. Frank Castillo.
Yeah, that's how you say the last name? Cool.
Yeah, dude, it's just like you're either too Mexican or not Mexican enough. And it's just like, you know, because it's just like, how would you like for me to introduce you? It's like, is it Pacheco or Pacheco?
Yeah. It's like, do you want the Italian version of Castillo or do you want the like Mexican version of Castillo?
Well, I mean, it also depends though too. I don't mean to be like easy going, but if it's an all Mexican room in Salinas, you're Frank Castillo.
Yeah.
You're not Frank Castillo. Or you're Frank Castillo. And I've seen the differences, especially in the cutthroat Mexican rooms where they're just like, hey, fuck your dreams and aspirations. Make us laugh, puto. So it's just like I've been through like that type of drama. I mean, but also that type of learning experience where it's like, you know, I got tough skin now and all that good. For those of you listening at home that aren't watching the video, my boy Frank is sparking up a fatty and he's talking to a fatty. So this is just on brand, on point. It's so cool, man, that I got to get you on my show. I actually first met Frank, of all places, at the San Francisco Punchline right before the pandemic. And I got to tell you, at certain comedy clubs, sometimes comics are like insecure about, like, oh, I wonder if this crowd's going to like me or if this material is going to be good with this. Frank don't give a fuck. Yeah. Frank legit said some of the funniest fucking I'm not going to burn any of your material, but he talked about a family member. He talked about significant other of the family member and for his own safety. Let's just put it like those are the broad strokes without taking anything away. But I was howling. I was screeching. I was all like, I need to know this guy. This guy's my friend. he doesn't even know who the hell I am. But I'm just like, dude, San Francisco Punchline, everybody's like in audition mode. And you were like, I'm in beast mode. And like, I learned something watching you that night that you didn't even know, because like every time I'm at the Punchline, I'm in audition mode. But in reality, I need to be in Victor Pacheco mode, just how Frank was in Frank Castillo mode and murdered. And like, dude, you said some of the funniest things that like I like for sure would kill in San Jose. For sure would kill in Modesto, and it was just like, dude, it showed so much conviction, and I was just like, dude, that is a real comic. That is, oh my God, that's so fun. We recently did a show, well, maybe not that recently, a few months back, Long Beach at the Laugh Factory, the Latino show.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I was ever there, and that shit was wild. That felt like church, dude. That was crazy.
Dude, I was really so surprised. First of all, I was nervous because I'd never been there before.
Absolutely. So many Mexicans. And also, Frank is not, okay, there was a lot of Mexican women there between the ages of 45 and 60. A lot. It was
a lot. On a Thursday night in Long Beach, California. Like, and here's the thing though, too, because I went up to Frank. I just said, what's up? How you doing? And like, you know, and I was like, hey, Frank, I don't know if you remember this joke, but you said it at the Punchline. It was fucking hysterical. And then you said that joke that night. And it was, sorry?
You remember what the joke was?
Oh, yeah. I absolutely remember that joke. That it's one of those jokes that's so funny that a joke is only funny if somebody else can repeat it, comic or non-comic, and it's still funny. And it's about how your sister's got a new boyfriend. And right? And that, okay. I'm not burning any shit.
No.
I'm not burning any good stuff. I'm just the broad strokes, because I hate it when they're like, and this is the punchline to that joke. And it's just like, no, don't say it. Let me say it if somebody, I'm just kidding. Because like, that was a really funny, hysterical story, because it's like, holy shit, like you put yourself in a vulnerable spot, and it's like people sometimes are like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, especially with Latino families. So, and then I have a bunch of questions because I've seen your stand up and I've seen your roast battles. Mm-hmm. And both are very unfiltered. Both are very funny. But with your roast battles, you go to the jugular, and you're not just trying to win the battle. You're trying to make sure that these people never battle again. is how I see it. Because quite honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to say this, but fuck it, I'll say it. When I saw you when I was visiting my friend in the ICU, and I didn't know who the hell you were. I was a comic, and I was just visiting my friend in the hospital, and I saw you against some pretty boy, white boy. All due respect, don't know him, don't know you, but I'm just like, okay, I'm rooting for this Mexican just because he's Mexican. Just
was it just the belly room, or was it? Do you remember what it was?
Oh, it was when you won against
Richard.
Yeah. And like, dude, you were fucking making fun of him for looking like a child molester and all this fucked up shit. It was okay. I don't give a fuck. That's on YouTube. So, at any rate, as far as burning material, but that was so hysterical. And then so I have a question. So obviously, there's no line when it comes to roast battling. Do you have a line when it comes to actual stand-up comedy for topics you don't want to talk about, or you're reluctant to talk about, or you think twice about before talking about it?
I mean, I got this school shooter bit that I've been doing. That's like my favorite fucking bit right now. And it's like, it's just, I don't know. So working at the store, and I'm going up there all the time. Like, there's a lot of servers that I'm friends with that I've known for years. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it too, because they have a great outside perspective of getting to watch us go up all the time and seeing our progress in as like a step back. So my friend Morgan made a good point last night where he was like, I can tell you're getting better and you're leveling up, because it used to just be your stand-up was about, you looking in at your family, looking in at you and all that stuff. He's like, but now you have you've figured out your lens of comedy to where now when I look at subjects or things that I find odd or funny, now I'm more willing to just do it instead of being like, I'll wait. Like, I have this Leonardo DiCaprio joke that I just started doing Friday, and I had so much fun. I talked to my friend about doing it, and he was like, just do it. You have so many spots this week, and you might as well just do it. And then I did it, and then I ended up doing it Friday, then I did Saturday, then I did Sunday. And then now I have a bit that I know the through line for, because I know so it was just I got to keep fucking with it. But that was I truly just try to point out stuff that's funny and make people laugh. Mm-hmm. I used to worry about the moral dilemma of it, where it was I got to portray this, and it's I'm on stage. Everyone knows I'm just kidding. And I just said the most wildest shit about my family and stuff. How can anyone think of being serious about these things that I'm talking about? Because I truly don't, most of the opinions I have, I don't really mean. I just saying it because it's funny, and I'm not supposed to have this opinion, That's kind of where I'm at right now, where it's I'm just trying to think of the funniest, goofiest shit for an opinion that maybe everyone has, maybe everyone doesn't have. Because I see so many comics, especially in Los Angeles, complain about stuff in the news or complain about things, and there's a part of me that bugs me so much where it's just be funny about it. Even if this is your opinion, have something funny to say about it, because then that's what's going to convince me, because I'm also not a regular person, right?
I don't think any of us that go on stage are regular people.
Yeah, I try to separate myself, where it's this is this is the human aspect, and it's your politics, I save all that for the voting and stuff. And if I really feel, maybe, but then there's the whole comic aspect of it, where it's all right, what's the funniest thing about this? What is the funniest thing about this conversation everyone's having? And then I try to attack it from there. And I just try to do something that I try to take the either the least popular opinion or the opinion that no one's talking about. Or I'll try to one of my favorite things to do is I try to be the dumb guy. So I'll try to take the other side's argument, but try to rationalize it through the other side, in the sense that everyone was arguing about the Leo thing not being, or everyone's arguing that it's creepy, and a lot of people are arguing that it's not being creepy. So then the idea that I'm taking is that it was like, well, it is kind of creepy, but it's not as creepy as the military, who's like real predatory. Like they show up when you're in high school and you're 18. You know what I mean? Like Leonardo DiCaprio is just the military for hot chicks, where it's like, he shows up when they're 21, shows them the world, fucks them a few times, then he pays for college. You know what I mean? Like just and then the other angle I had of it was anyone would leave, anyone that's married for a long time would absolutely leave their significant other for a younger person. And usually everyone, like, it gets quiet and they're like, no, there's always like one married guy. And then I ask them, I was like, how long have you been married? And they tell me, and then I go, you wouldn't leave your wife for a younger woman? And they go, absolutely not. And I'll go, would you leave your wife for the younger version of herself that you first met right now if she walked in?
Jesus Christ, Frank, dude, you can't be asking people that. You can't be asking people that. Okay.
Because then I'll ask her, I'll be like, do you want your husband for the younger version of him? And then they'll either say yes. So most of the time women get it by then. They're like, yeah. But then someone gave me a tag. It was Leslie. She goes, and women will absolutely do that, because at the end of the day, everyone wants the younger versions of themselves.
Dude.
Who you are. And I was like, oh yeah, it was like, especially women. I was like, yeah, it was like, humans in general. It's like, we always want, like, bro, you kidding me? 21, absolutely. Everyone wants that.
You know what, Frank? I was expecting to have a stoner conversation, and I'm getting goosebumps right now for how fucking deep this is. Like, no, this is fucking deep, because, dude, that ties it all around. It is the fountain of youth. We didn't make that shit up. That's been around for centuries, millennia, because we've all been striving to be the younger versions of ourselves. So for that all to go around, it's full circle, baby, full circle, baby. And so for you to have friends that's like, you know what? Adding this tag, and that's the fucking thing. That's what's good about being around like-minded people, but also though too, that know your voice, know your comedic stylings, because it's like, how I would do that joke. Who gives a fuck how you do that joke? We're talking about Frank right now. And so that's why I don't like writing groups unless it's with somebody I know and they know me and we know each other's voices. And like,
there's a few people I'll honestly listen to, or I'm excited to run stuff by, and also like, if I have a joke that I feel is like that, where it's like kind of on the line, like I talked to Christine Little about it last night, where, she's very like feminist. She's very, and I told her, I was like, I have this bit. And I know like a lot of women are upset. And I was like, but I just want to like, and I talked her through it. And she had like, she was like, well, what about this? What about this? And I had something, each thing for everything she said. And she was like, that's a good bit. She was like, I hate it. She was like, that's such a good bit. Because it's this argument of like, it's the premise. But then, like, you look at all the different arguments people have and you try to find the funniest thing for that. And then now you just have this. It's fun to take the audience through, like, tiptoe them through, like, all these points where it's like, oh, which way is it going to go? And then you show them just a funny, dumb thing.
Well, I mean, but you're like a scientist when it comes to the breakdown of step-by-step order. And the reason I say scientist is because I look at stand-up comedy like a science experiment, in that when you follow the order of operation, you have to do it in a certain order in order for everybody to be on the same wavelength as you, to manipulate the energy in the room, so everybody is on Team Frank Castillo at all times. And so I'm piggybacking on what you're saying. And also, if I'm saying something wrong, be like, hey, Vic, actually, because
yeah. And I mean, to add to it, it's also like I always think of it like, it's the art, and the art of it is, I think, is something that everyone goes through, like any kind of artist, where it's like, you think of it in your head, or you see it, or you hear it, and then it's trying to convey what's in your mind to everyone else in the clearest possible way. And I was talking to someone else about that last night, but it's just like this. Because when I first started comedy, it's like I think of something and it take me months or like a year to finally figure out how to say it, or how and then now I'll think of something and it'll be already kind of fully formed, or at least a little bit more formed, and then I'll like have more fun playing with it, and then I just get excited to figure it out, and then I'll annoy my wife with comedy talk about it.
I think everybody's significant other has to deal with that. at some level, because like even me, I'm laying in bed with my wife. I have a deviated septum because of poor choices I've made in the past. And
because you're a real comic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I got messed up teeth too, so I'm a real comic. But I'm laying in bed with my wife, and I'm breathing a little hard. I'm like, and I was like, holy shit, I sound like an elephant. What happens if I tell a joke about fucking my wife like an elephant? And then we started laughing, and I was all like, I got a new joke. So at any rate, so it was just like, oh my god, like it's fun to go over material with the wife or a significant other, but it's just like it's always important to talk to other comics about writing. So I have a question. Do you ever go back to like old journals from years ago and then bring a joke back from the dead, or bring a thought to life that you never even attempted?
Someone, I remember, I think it might have been Leslie once when I was at the store, I was doing a joke and it was just rough subject that was happening in the news at the time or something like that. And there was something funny about it. I just couldn't figure it out. And then I remember she came up to me and she was like, yeah, she was like, this is one of those bits that's, it's just too advanced for where you are right now. And then I was like, oh, that's actually really good. That's actually, when you put it that way, that's a great fucking point. Like, it was like, why am I going to try to tackle something so tough and then lose the audience for the rest of the set? You know what I mean? When it's like, I could just do the things that I'm doing that's funny, or like work on the things like kind of like my level and then build to it. Cause you know, I see people talk about such heavy subjects and it's like, because you can tell they haven't found the funny thing in it, but they're just trying to look for it. And it's like, that is fine. But it's like, you got to have like, if you don't have like a laugh in the middle of such a heavy thing, like now you just brought up a heavy thing. And then it's like, there's a musk in the room of sadness.
It's just a lecture, or like it's like an open forum. It's now like a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. There's no punchline. But I've been to some funny Narcotics Anonymous meetings where they fucking kill it. I'm like, dude, this is a comic for sure. And then they're not. But I was gonna ask you some questions with because for me, I knew you. It was so hilarious because as soon as you got passed at the Comedy Store, which is, for anybody who doesn't know this, being passed at any comedy club is really like a sign that you've been accepted. But when you've earned the spot of becoming a paid regular at the Comedy Store, that is above and beyond what the normal standard is for any club, because it's world renowned. It's a world famous Comedy Store. And so what was funny was, for me, I'm happy for Frank. I just met him. He's cool. Oh, cool. And now he's a regular at the world famous Comedy Store. I'm super happy for you. And it was so funny because I saw a comment where you're like, I told my first grade teacher that said I wasn't going to amount to shit that I'm a paid regular at the fucking Comedy Store, or you said something like that. And I was dying. I was like, this is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And then also I saw the Showtime documentary, and then I'm like, I wonder if I know anybody. I'm like, oh shit, that's Frank. And then they tell you in the kitchen, you're like, yeah, you just got passed. You're like, what? And it was so amazing because I wasn't there, obviously, when they told you got passed, but I felt like I was there, because it was so, like, you could see how happy you were, all the years of going up and trying and, you know, auditioning and doing everything that you, and it's not just that, because every comedy club, when they're interested in you, they're looking to see what else you're doing. Not, are you just hanging out at this club? Are you going up at this other club? Are you going on tour? Have any headliners picked you up to go on tour across the country? Are you headlining any shows? Are you just an opener? Because like when it comes to the Comedy Store, I know for a fact they only pass paid regulars who either have the potential or are headliners. End of story. Not just funny comics, because there's a ton of funny comics that are not passed at the Comedy Store. It's those that are either headliners or are going to be headliners, or going to be like a household name or something to that effect. So, I mean, for the people at home that don't know that, because it's so important. I mean, like, I go there just to check out shows, or I go there for a showcase in the belly room, and I'm, you know, best behavior. I hope I get discovered. I know it doesn't work like that, but I mean, it's just like, you know, it's like everywhere I go, it's on my best behavior. So I want to ask you, what was your experience, and what is your experience at the Comedy Store to like how it was like potluck, getting in, the auditioning. Were you ever a non-paid regular? What was the process to become a regular? Like, how many auditions did you have to do? Like, can you like walk us through that?
Yeah, it was the whole process took about 6 years just to get past. And then now that I'm past, it's still like, and now you're in the other side of it, which is like, well, now you did the thing and now you get to go up on stage and work in front of that. You know what I mean? Like I got bumped by Leslie Jones the other night. Like I've been bumped by Bill. I had to follow Liza. I've had to do tons of crazy shit at the store, but that's like all the things you work towards. And before that, it was like, I showed up when I was 23, signed up for the open mics for like, got 2-3 years before I got hired. Then I was a door guy for about 6 years, and then that was like taking out the trash, all the worst parts of working in a nightclub, but the best parts of working in the best comedy club of the world. So I got to watch everybody go up for fucking 5 to 6 days out of the week. So it's like, they talk about their 10,000 hours. It's like, yeah, I watched and did comedy and got to do spots when they're around while on shift. So it's like it's like college, but for comedy. Like you show up, you work, they might toss you up in the belly room. You might get to open up the OR, for 5 minutes. And then you get to talk to Mark Maron, you get to talk to all these big comics, and you get to, make a name for yourself. So, I was very lucky, and I appreciate the path that I took, because it does feel like, when I talk to other comics or in these industry things and like you talk to them, it's like, I'm a kid from East Side San Jose. Like my dad works at Safeway. My mom was just a crazy lady in college. I don't have anyone that works in the industry. My mom wasn't on SNL. My dad's not like a fucking famous writer. You know what I mean? Like my dad didn't co-direct some of the best sitcoms coming up. Like I'm just a guy that had to put his head down and fucking do the work. And the system at the store is one of the only places that lets you do that. So I just did it. I just showed up, put the work in, fucking wrote the jokes. I took every chance I could at roast battle, and I did that. That got me a little bit of name recognition. And then when I got the job, all the headliners that saw me win roast battle would take me on the road, fuck with me. And then when I won roast battle on TV, that really set it up for me, because they were just like, oh, he's really good at writing. Let's see what he can do. And then getting up and opening up for everybody, and then just featuring solid for a year and a half is what made me better at stand-up. And then now it's just like, I get stressed sometimes when it comes to like industry stuff and like SNL or JFL and like industry stuff. But like at the end of the day, I always have to remind myself that I got the thing that I wanted, like name on the wall, doing stand-up fucking in the main room, show around town. Like people know me, and that's cool. I got a cool podcast, and it's like, once you live in that kind of life, you're happy with the wife, you got a cool, solid house set up, like you're good. Then it's like, now you get to have fun, So it's like, I see, especially at the store, you see comics that blow up on Instagram because of a TikTok or whatever, and now they get tons of stuff, but they still want to get in at the store. And that place is the great regulator, like yeah. I've seen people with credits come in and be like, I want my shot, and they'll give them the shot, and they just don't deliver. And then it's like, well, you can't come in. And then they're just like, well, why aren't I in? It's like, well, because, we have this person who's a no-name from the Midwest who fucking murdered their showcase because this is all they got. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So it's crazy, that place, man, because it is
that. No, because that's what I'm saying. I can name at least 5 people that are hysterical with a bunch of TV credits that are not passed there.
Yeah.
And like exactly what you just said. And I don't know if because these comics are like really funny. So I'm not saying like, oh, they should be passed or anyone should be passed. I'm just saying that with what you have accomplished and everything you've gone through, and especially how you humbly explained it right now, like you don't have anybody in the industry, it's not like you're Jonah Hill and like your dad's some like, executive producer and, his cousins with Harvey Weinstein or whatever. Huh. And so it's like,
I don't give you the hookup on dairy. That's about it, dog.
Hey, dog, that's sick, man. Dairy's gone up because of gas prices. So, hey, that's legit. I appreciate that, but I'm not going to go all the way to San Jose for that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I was going to ask you, how was it like for the crew to be there when you were passed at the Comedy Store when they were doing the documentary. I mean, of all the times they made a fucking documentary.
So I gotta tell you how hot dogs are made. I got passed I think a year and a half to 2 years before they shot that. So they had it. So like what happened was they were shooting the doc over like I think a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they had all these storylines they were gonna do, and they wanted to do something with the new paid regulars, and then I didn't know I was gonna get passed. They were literally just showcasing people at the time, and I showcased, had a good set. Adam had been watching all of us for like 4 to 6 weeks over the course, and then let's see, I was walking out of the store, and then Adam passed me. Right then and there, he just told me he actually passed me in the same spot that I got hired in as a door guy, like a few years early. Yeah, so it was a whole thing. Like, so when he told me this, the director was right next to him when they were talking about the doc, and he was just like, "God damn it!" He was like, "I should have had my camera," because he passed me, I started crying and all this shit. Like it was a whole thing. I hugged him. I fucking screamed, bro. Lee was right next to us, and he said the reaction I had, he thought someone had died because I was like hugging him and crying, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and then they were just like, "Oh, that's way better," and then like they were like, "Don't say anything, just wait till tomorrow." Then when we announcement, so I had to like leave because I didn't want to like be there just crying. You know what I mean?
Oh my god,
it's great. Yeah.
How hot dogs were made. I'm sorry, that is the best preamble to that story. Best preamble. Oh Jesus Christ!
So they were like, "We're gonna have you reenact it," and they did. They had to shoot it like twice, which was.
Oh my
it was
God.
so tough because it was like, "You want me to reenact they were like, "Just do what happened." I was like, "You mean the greatest moment of my life? You want me to reenact?"
Yeah, dude.
The best thing. No, don't get me wrong. It's great, but like,
as a comedian and everything you work hard for, you start off at an open mic. We all start off at open mics.
Yeah.
And then you're a paid regular at the best comedy club in the world, not just the state, not just LA, in the world, that's developed so many comics, developed so many shows.
It's the whole thing.
And so it's just, you are part of that family. And so like I'm happy for you because like actually because I had just met you and then I found that out. I was like, "Oh wow, that guy's fucking cool." Like, like that's amazing because like getting past any comedy club is amazing. But the Comedy Store is like next level. And so it's just like, I'm happy to hear that that's going your way. I was going to talk to you about weed because I love weed. Weed's great. I do weed shows where, different theme shows. Sometimes there's shows where it's 420 friendly and you can smoke weed in the crowd. And I was wondering how your experiences are because like there's bootleg ones and then there's like official sponsored ones.
Well,
and
I think there definitely needs to be comedy clubs where you can smoke weed and drink, just because everyone has their own kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous to go to a comedy club and they're like, "Sorry, we can't have weed here." It's like, I know people are doing coke right now in the bathroom. People on drugs right now in this building. Like, just let us do it. But there is like some audiences do get too stoned and there's that delayed reaction, but it's like, I think a good mix of an audience is fun.
Yeah, I agree that the mix is fun. The weed is fun. I was in a green room. I'm not going to say which comedy club, but let's say there's a window there and it's upstairs. And I was in that green room and people were smoking cigarettes out the window and doing lines of whatever on the table right there. And I'm like, "Oh, it's party zone. Hey, is it cool to smoke a joint?" And then somebody was twacked out of their mind with a cigarette. "No, dude, that shit stinks." And I'm just like, what the fuck? How come I can't smoke a fucking joint?
It's so funny to see like people that do like harder drugs like look down on people that smoke weed. And I was like, what are you doing?
It's like, grow up and do a line. Okay, Frank. Yeah. Okay. Do a fucking line. Stop being a little pussy. What are you, a 12-year-old?
Yeah, I'm on acid. I'm just like, where is everybody yelling at me? Yeah.
Why do weed smokers get stigmatized?
It's easier.
But why? Okay, fine. Let me rephrase that. Why is it okay in the Mexican? Why is it more accepted in the Mexican culture to have kids out of wedlock
than it is to be a marijuana smoker.
For real. I got a cousin that I got a cousin that's like, has like has dealing with drug addiction, has gone to jail and stuff. And they're just like, you still smoking weed, Frank? I'm like, yeah. And then like, how's cousin? They're like, he's hanging in there, he's doing well. And I was like, why is this the dynamic? You know what I mean? Like, I was on TV, I took weed. Like, what do you guys think? These are all flukes?
Well, because you're doing so good. It's just that it's just that one thing. You have that one flaw, and that's es un marihuano.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just everyone
Frank.
Problem. You know, like
Frank, you're such a good young man. Why do you have to corrupt your life with marijuana?
I had an aunt call me, and I think I hurt her feelings, and I felt bad, but she was just like, I just wish you wouldn't smoke so much weed. And I was just like, yeah, man, I wish your son didn't do fucking hardcore drugs. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God. Jesus.
I was like, I'm touring the country and making good money. So maybe I'm not the one that you should be talking to about the drugs he's taking.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's offensive.
But like, I'm in this weird spot where it's like I'm in my 30s now. Like, me and my wife have we have a place. We don't like bug family members for money because we need it. Like, we're solid now. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it's like we both have our careers, we both have everything. So there's a little part of me that like annoys me to no end when I have family members like call me and be like, you should do this, or like, hey, have you thought about, you know what I mean? And then I'm like looking at their kids, and it's like, I love my cousins, but I'm just like, they're not even close to doing the shit that I'm doing.
Right.
So
right.
Like, what is it in your head that makes you feel like it's okay to call me and be like, maybe you should get into like, I don't know, like being a doctor or like something. I'm just like, what is?
You're doing great at what you're doing. You're killing it.
You know what I mean?
What? Okay, for the record, I didn't know that you're Indian from India, and you had relatives that want you to be a fucking doctor. Because no, I know an Indian. He's a fucking engineer. He used to work for PayPal, but his younger brother's a medical doctor. So the mom thinks he's a piece of shit, even though he makes like $500,000 a year. And I'm like, you make more money than your little brother, but you're a piece of shit because you don't have MD after your name.
The dynamic is so funny to me. Yeah,
but you're a comedy doctor, and you just don't have an MD. You have a CD, comedy degree.
I remember explaining to my step grandparents what I do, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to Japan to do stand up, and they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm gonna go fly to Japan,
yeah,
and I'm gonna go talk for a little bit,
mm-hmm.
and they're gonna give me money and come back, and they were just like, who pays for the flights? I was like, they do. And they're like, well, where are you gonna stay? I was like, they have that set up for me. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm so funny.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So cool. And I know it's unheard of for any of you guys for that to be said about any of my answer, like step family.
But I feel like two words are missing in the fucking vocabulary for Latinos, and that's proud. And oh God, I'm missing the other one. God, but like Mexican parents are just like mijo, don't do that. You're gonna embarrass yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, but dude, hold on a second. Do you like? It feels like, dude, you're a comedian. You're a professional comedian. You're great at what you do. And then it's like, I'm a paid speaker who says funny things and is required to say funny things to keep these paid public speaking engagements.
Yeah. It's
that's the base what you're doing.
I think a lot of like Mexicans, especially like my mom, they their parents were immigrants, so they came here, so they had that hustle mentality, and they like, when your grandfather like crosses the border legally or illegally for like that American dream, their version, it's always what they think of the American dream, and then that passes down to your parents, who, like, my mom has her version of the American dream for me, and then it's like, oh no, this is my American dream, is to go and do stand-up, like, this is what I want. And then I'm great at it, and it's so funny to see like them still be like, oh no, you're not doing like the thing that we needed you to do. It's like, no, I am. It's just not what you thought it was,
So you're just supposed to have like a successful construction company and like 10 employees, and you're the boss and
three other jobs. You know what I mean? Like she wants me to drive a truck, and it's like, no, it's just not what it was. You know?
Sorry, the truck thing just got me. It's just like I don't drive a truck, and it's just like I'm Mexican enough, and it's just like it's just like, look, dude, I don't. Well, that also like I don't know, because with the culture, it's hard to talk about it with people that are not exposed to it or haven't experienced. People are exposed to it. It's just like, oh, I grew up in a Latino. It's like, yeah, did you get your ass beat though? Because you're younger than me, but even though we're considered millennials, I don't feel I'm a millennial. I feel I'm a Generation Xer, only because my parents used to fucking beat the shit out of me as a kid,
and they had us young. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, fine, and they had us young, but my point. But I mean, that's why it's just like, the things with our culture. And okay, for example, the first time that I got paid to perform stand-up, I didn't have a regular job, and I definitely did not have, and I'm a fat guy. I was living on my parents at the time, went to a 7-Eleven, got a Slurpee, got a candy bar, fat guy shit. And then I go home and my mom's like, mijo, where'd you get that money from? And I'm like, oh, I got this from last night from doing stand-up. She's like, mijo, they gave you money to go on stage to be a clown? And I was all like, well, I wasn't a clown. I was actually really funny, and they gave me money. I mean, so I could, you didn't steal this money from my purse? I'm like, Mom, I've never stolen any money from your purse. Mijo, are you prostituting yourself out? And I'm like, Mom, who would pay to have sex with me? Seriously. And by the way, you think people are more likely to pay me for sex than pay me to be funny on stage? You see me killing it during Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. You think you know what? But at any rate, I know it's different being funny with family members than it is being funny on stage with complete strangers.
Oh. And it's so funny because like I always feel like I like my cousins, they do not respect the shit out of me. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God,
to visit my family. Like,
I wish you were my cousin, because I'm fucking proud as fuck of you, dude. And like
oh no, they're proud, but they tease the shit out of me still.
Well, they tease it because it's not a traditional job, but it's also for the record, a lot of people fucking think going on stage is us just winging it. We're winging it as we go. And it's just like, no, it's like we've been doing this for weeks, months, years, sometimes even decades. It's so polished from so much.
I invited a friend to come watch me. It was his first time.
Yeah.
Watched me, loved it. And then he came to watch me the next time. And he goes, and it's like his first time at a comedy club. We were making fun of him so much later in the back, but he was like, so do you do like the same stuff, or do you have like other stuff that you do? And I was like, this motherfucker. And then like, so I went up and I like was like, well, I have to do other shit, or I got to do some new jokes. And I did, and it was still a good set. But like once we got in the back, oh, that was so cool. I didn't see any of that. And I was like, yeah. Then I was talking to all the other comics, and I told them what he did, and they were like howling because of how funny it was. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that. I didn't realize I was like, I didn't realize that was bad." And I was like, "No, it's cool,
dude." But well, I mean, yeah, you're working something out. But I mean, there was times where like I'm just like I have seen some comics that have claimed to have been a comic for 30 years, and they do the same exact jokes and the same exact sequence, the same exact way every single time. They don't change anything. Sometimes it's funny. It usually isn't, but there's like some parts of it where it's like, okay, you know what? If you were to just combine all the good stuff and just have a solid 3 minutes and just start there. And I'm not talking about one person specifically, because I could think of 7 people right now.
Yeah, if you just learned how to edit and, write a better joke, things would go differently. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing though. I mean, there's so much pride with stand-up. There's so much pride in the work that you have put in, all the experiences that you've gone through. And so it's just like, no, you're not changing that. That's my experience. But it's like, dude, you got to make it funny. You got to make it relatable. You got to make it in the moment so people know that it's genuine.
Yeah. It's people always be like, so there's certain comments on me. They're like, I've been doing this 10 years. And I was like, oh, well, you have the comedic like IQ of like someone who's only been doing it for 2. So it's just the thing is like, yeah, doing it a long time doesn't equate to being good at it.
Absolutely.
It's doing it a long time and constantly working and progressing and getting better. And like, doing the work.
So when do you do any clean comedy?
No, because I'm not a clean person.
No. That isn't what I meant at all. I'm not a clean person at all, but I got brainwashed early on into thinking that if you start off as a dirty comic and you start off as a dirty comedy writer, you could never be a clean comic. And so I dropped some acid and I convinced myself that that's bullshit. And so I proved it to myself that I could do 15 minutes clean. Now, is it as funny as my dirty stuff? No, but I could do 15 minutes clean.
Yeah. And sometimes you need that. I can. It's tough for me, but also clean is like such a it's also like, subject matter and not cussing. Cause then like, I realized like, one time I tried to take all the curse words out of my jokes and I was like, oh, I could still do these jokes, which is great. Also, I curse when I talk.
Me too. It's hard not to. I substitute teach. I'm in hell when I'm at work. I'm in hell.
I remember I moved to Temecula when I was in high school, my senior year of high school. And one of my good friends was Mormon, but he was Jack Mormon, which is like the Mormons that don't practice, that are like leaving the church and stuff. They call them Jack Mormons.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Coolest dude. So funny. And we went to go pick up, I think, like surfboards from his friend's house. He was like hardcore Mormon, and it was him and all his brothers. And we were just sitting there talking, and I was just like, fucking shit balls, like fucking bullshit, like, that bitch was hilarious, like, just how. And the whole, like, the youngest Mormon brother was just like, every time I cursed, it hurt him. Like, he'd never like met a person like me who was just like, he'd never heard that many curse words in like 20 seconds.
Okay, that's hilarious. Were you laughing as this was going on, or were you
I didn't notice. I didn't realize it until we were in the car, like 10 minutes later, when my friend was like stopped laughing hysterically. I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Bro, you told me," and I was like, "Oh shit, dog." And I was like, "Am I never gonna be back?" He's like, "No, but I'm probably gonna hear about it." That's so funny.
Oh, that's the worst. And I hate it, especially when I talk to comics on the phone and these assholes are handling errands and then they have the fucking balls to put me on speakerphone. And then I say something and they're like, I'm at the dog park right now and you're on speakerphone. I'm like, you could have told me that when I first made the call. Not
like, my wife's in the room.
Oh, I know she's in the room. Totally.
No. I'm just yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm like, Frank, I want to suck your cock.
The first time she heard a male comic say that to me.
All right. Oh no, I was ad-libbing. That was not a serious offer. But what's it called? No, dude, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, no, people say ridiculous things all I'm one of them. So it's just I'm really I don't know. I was reading one of your profiles for from the Laugh Factory. One of the lines in there says verbatim, Frank's mom thinks he's a piece of shit for making fun of people.
Yeah.
It's on the actual website. I laughed so fucking hard. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to interview this guy. This is gonna be so much. This is too funny.
First time I battled on TV was a kid in a wheelchair. His name is Greg Roque. Absolutely very funny comic. I love him to death. My mom found out I was battling a kid in a wheelchair and she was like, "You're a fucking dick." She's like, "You're an asshole." She was like, "Don't do it." Yeah, it was a whole. She left me like a 2-minute voicemail. I sent it to Comedy Central and they laughed their asses off. It was great.
You sent a voice message. Do you still have it?
Of course, I put it on my album.
Yeah,
it's the bonus track of my album.
Okay.
It's 2.5 minutes of her screaming at me. It's pretty great.
Okay, for the record, rappers, they'll start off their song with "I miss you, baby. Oh my God, I can't live my life without you. Oh my God, I can't live with your love." And then over here, it's your mom yelling at you, calling you a piece of shit for making fun of a guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, dude, it's so fun.
Dude, that is hysterical. No, because dude, I'm like, oh yeah. Because I'm looking up everything, like every description, all the things that we could talk about, everything, and then that came up. on the Laugh Factory, and it like with a label and everything. And I'm just like, how did this get approved?
Yeah, because if the Laugh Factory's putting Chris D'Elia up, I don't think they're worried about fucking my.
Frank. If you want me to bleep that, I will.
Are you kidding me? My first TV debut got pulled because D'Elia was the judge. So the first time I was ever on TV, instead of cutting him out of the episode, because all the show got released and then the deletion happened. But yeah, they pulled the episode, and I remember just being like, "Well, fuck this! Like, how was And he's back, and it's fine. And I was like, "Yeah, I had a feeling the industry wasn't really going to do anything."
Wait, did they? Okay, so D'Elia's back, but is your episode back? No.
That's what makes me laugh. It was just like, yeah, he was always going to come back. You know what I mean? Like, nothing ever happened when it comes to like the courts and stuff. Like, yeah. So it was all for show.
Okay, so then they should show that battle. Then they should like re-upload it.
I was thinking,
bad.
Yeah,
like,
so funny where it was just like, it's like all these women, especially a lot of like comics in the scene, female comics in the scene, were complaining about D'Elia. We're saying all these things, and they got a lot of bumps because of it, right? And then it was so funny to see the industry react this way, and then like pump people up, get rid of D'Elia, cancel a bunch of shows which had like Mexicans and people of color on it, and then now they're letting them back in, and it's just like, well, what are we doing here?
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, he sells a lot of tickets, and at the end of the day,
yeah,
here's the thing. There's a big difference between him and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Absolutely,
it's pretty much what it boils down to. That's not the only thing, but Leo is a gentleman and will wait. Look,
yeah, and 21 to 25, he takes a good.
Like a gentleman, like a fucking gentleman. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to go out with a chick that could rent a fucking car. I don't want to go out with some fucking chick that can't rent a fucking car. Okay. Sorry. My bad. My cutoff is 25. I can't go out with an 18-year-old. What the fuck? Can you hold my phone to do the TikTok? Fuck you. Hold my cock. Anyway. So, I mean, but anyway, so I'm sorry. We went on a tangent, but yeah, that is fucked up that they pulled your episode and D'Elia's back, but your episode ain't back. And it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. But like, yeah, dude, it was just like, it was so much fun watching the roast because, oh my God, I cannot. Also, for the record, how the fuck did you battle somebody in a wheelchair? Like, did when you found that out, how did you feel? Were you like, how am I going to do this? Or were you like, oh, I already know what I'm going to say?
It was a challenge. And I like a good challenge. And it was also like, it's a writing challenge, which is something I appreciated. But Greg himself, he was one of the main reasons I still did it was because he said, he was like, if you don't treat this battle like everyone else, then I'll get mad at you. He was like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what the jokes are. He was like, it's just, if you don't treat me like every other comic and you treat me differently or don't write the jokes I know you can write because I'm in a wheelchair, he was like, that's when I'll get mad and I'll get offended. And I was like, oh, okay.
Has this ever been stated publicly?
Yeah, I think I said that. I've said it a few times, but that's when I was like, oh, I could go as hard as I want. But also, it's like, it's so easy to go hard on a kid in a wheelchair and to like, but those three jokes, and that's why I had such a big problem with it, because those three jokes were probably those are three of the best, three of my best jokes I've ever written, because it was dealing with such my mom was so worried that I was going to get canceled because it was like I was making a fucking wheelchair on TV for the first time ever. I could go bad so many ways.
I kind of want to start this podcast with your mom's message.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Just out of context. Like,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
She was like, no, she was like, why are they making you do that? She thought the fix was in. She thought they were purposely, that's that Mexican shit.
Oh,
she was like, oh, the first time they're putting a Mexican up, they're going to have you go against a kid in a wheelchair. She's like, what, they're going to fuck your career already? Like, it was a whole thing.
Oh, so she thought they were sabotaging it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm fucking speechless. Holy shit, dude. Mama Bear is fucking, this is so great. Okay, dude.
Wow, I have goosebumps right now. That's crazy. Oh my God. Because like face value, I thought it was just like, you're a bad person and that's it. And she's going off about how you're going to hell, you're a bad Catholic or relapse or lapse cat, whatever. I thought that's where my brain went. But then it's just like, mijo, you're gonna get canceled. It's bad. Well, they're gonna, you're the first Mexican on that show, and you're gonna be the last one on there. And they're doing that on purpose. And I don't want to say where, but I feel like sometimes industry goes to certain scenes that are not LA, and they find certain people that fit the cookie cutter of what they need.
I mean,
and then they say that person from that location and all the comedians from that location fucking suck.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that's the big thing is like,
yeah,
they're like, this person's from here, and then like, that's not our best of that. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Like somebody recently was like, oh, what do you want me to say about you when I introduce you? Do you want me to say that you're from the Bay? I'm like, do not say I'm from the Bay in LA. They're already going to fucking hate me. They already hate me. I'm fat. Like they're going to fucking really hate me.
Yeah.
For being from the Bay. Like if I just come out there, like, like I might as well come out with a San Francisco Giants hat and be like, SF, fuck yeah, whatever. But it's just, I don't know. Like, do you do any Spanish shows?
No, I wish I spoke Spanish. I regret not being able to speak Spanish.
Okay, if you ever want to learn Spanish, I could teach you Spanish.
Oh shit,
I'm not lying.
I might have to take you up on that.
I'm not joking.
I'm laughing.
Oh no, I'll teach you conversational, and also if you really want to, and I'm going on record saying this because I don't edit my podcast unless my guests tell me to, but dude, like, yeah, I've done this for somebody. I'll tell you off the record who, but I translated one of my friends' stand-up comedy bit into Spanish.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of that.
So check this out. So this is me. So in English, I say that I look like a proud Samoan lesbian woman with a beard. Mm-hmm. In Spanish, I say me parezco como una Samoana lesbiana con barba. Weird. It's the same exact fucking thing, and it's just like there's like a lot of like nuances, and it's just like I spoke to like a professional Spanish comic, and he got pissed off that I got his number. I was 4 months into comedy, and he was really pissed. He's like, "Hey, bro, I don't know how the fuck you got my number, but you got 3 minutes." And I was like, "Listen, I just started stand-up. I'm trying to start a comedy scene in Spanish in the Bay Area." So we're on the phone for like 2 hours. And he's telling me about the differences. Like, you can't joke about cancer. You can't joke about pedophilia. You can't joke about rape. Only time you could joke about rape is if you're in prison and you're like, hey, te voy a coger, cabrón. And I'm just like,
fine.
It's just like, you can't talk about rape. You can't rape a woman. You could only rape a man in prison. But you have to. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
It's like, you can't talk about pedophilia, but if you rape pedophile that's under 18, that's fine.
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, so yes, so I think you would thrive in Spanish comedy. So but because I mean, dude, to be honest with you, man, like you could still learn Spanish. You could still do it. Like, it's not too late. The only and this sucks. But like, dude, even watching Spanish television or listening to Spanish songs, like I listen to all the reggaeton stations.
Yeah, I've been getting into listening to Spanish music a lot lately.
Yeah, dude, it helps because you get familiarized with the words, with the way they're pronounced. Pero también cuando son de Puerto Rico, así hablan español, así hablan así, es una forma así. Pero tú sabes, los mexicanos así hablan así. And so like there's different subtle, it'd be like the difference between speaking in English like this versus like talking in English like this. And it's like totally
different dialect.
That's right, brother. Totally different. So it's just like, it's just like, like in Spanish, if you're from the mountains, hola, bueno, ¿cómo estás?
I got uncles and I got family like that.
Hello, sí, ¿cómo estás? Anyway, so no, I got family like that too. So it's like, I'm not just like, like just talking shit.
Yeah.
indiscriminately. I'm talking shit about certain people. And no, I'm just kidding. But any rate, I was gonna ask you also. Oh yeah, this is what I got from the Kim interview that you did. That you admitted that Channing Tatum you think is really handsome and funny.
Oh yeah, I love Magic Mike. Channing Tatum's great, obviously. But
the franchise.
Magic Mike franchise is such a good fucking movie and such a good series of films. Have you seen the first one?
No, I haven't seen it. Okay, sorry.
Because like you watch it and you're like, oh, it's just a big hunky dumb guy like doing male stripper shit. And then he's like an architect who's just trying to like save up money and like build his own furniture. And then you're like, oh, this like is kind of deeper. And then it's like weird and kind of like deep and existential. And then there's dudes with their shirts off. It's a weird like it's a good movie. Like, you know what I mean? There's a part where like you want to cry because like there's some like real like deep heavy shit going on. Yeah. And then the sequel, I swear to God, the sequel, all comedy road trip. It straight up is just it's a road trip movie with dudes and their shirts off. It's fucking hysterical, dude. There's like I remember there's like a scene where one of the guys is just like he was like, no, I bet you I can. He was like, I bet you I can get free shit from this like gas station attendant, and the gas station attendant's like the typical big like woman at a gas station attendant. And he like walks in without his shirt and he's just like doing dances in the aisles and like pouring shit on him from like the soda machine. It is hands down one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's so ridiculous. And you know what's even cooler? Jacqueline Marfugi, she's a comic. Mm-hmm. She actually got hired to host the live show in Vegas. I don't know how she got it. I don't know if they saw her do stand-up, but then they added to it. And now like she's like the comedic element and the only girl on the show.
What?
And, yeah, apparently she kills and it's really funny. And I told her, I was like, I love Magic Mike.
Dude.
Dying laughing. I was like, so she was like, anytime you and your wife want to come and see the live show. So we're going to go see it. I'm going to take my sister. It's going to be hilarious.
Shit. Tell him I'm your cousin. I'm going to. No, because...
Watch the movie. Just watch the first movie.
Dude, I swear to God.
Or at least the trailers. Just watch the trailer.
Okay. I'm not watching the trailer. I've seen the trailer. I'll watch the movie. Only because I've never seen a straight man be this compassionate about a movie. This would be like
great actor, dog.
Dude, no, listen. No, because okay.
And also fucking what's his name? All right's in it.
Well, Fluffy's in it too. He plays a DJ for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Fluffy. Hey, dude, it's such a good movie, dude. It's like you can. I mean, it's better than you'd expect.
Oh my God, you know, because I don't know. In addition to stand up, if you work on scripts too, but I get these new ideas from watching shit that I normally wouldn't watch. So I'm getting kind of excited watching a movie that is targeted for women. When I write stories or I write jokes, it's like I want to make myself laugh. I want to make people that, you know, I want to make everyone laugh, of course, but I mean, it's just like mostly for dudes. So like, you know, when I see movies like Bad Teacher, I know it's mostly for women, with Justin Timberlake, who's the love interest, who's a broke ass teacher who she chooses over the millionaire. Shut the fuck up. That ain't fucking real life. That ain't real fucking life. No, I substitute teach. I wrote a stoner comedy movie where the protagonist, his name is Mr. Pacheco. He's a lovable stoner, and he gets a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a long-term substitute teacher where he teaches Spanish at Carmont High School, which is the high school that is based from the movie Dangerous Minds, with the movie, you know, with Coolio. Been spending most of our life living in a gangster's paradise. So anyway, I can't sing for shit, obviously. But I used to work at that school as a long-term teacher. So they would bus in kids from the hood and they'd be like, I learned how to speak no Mexican. Okay, well, me neither. We're learning Spanish. Matter of fact, we're going to talk taco. Okay, we're going to talk taco. Okay, Jesus Christ. And for the record, I'm not a Mexican. I'm Mexican. I am a mess, but not Mexican. At any rate, I'm going to just ask you a couple questions because I want to be respectful of your time. Because you know, I've way more Magic Mike questions I want to ask.
Have you ever jerked?
We gotta go lunch with the lady.
Oh yeah. Okay. So let me get to my last couple of questions. How did you cope during the pandemic when all the comedy clubs closed down?
Oh, I still did a few shows when they popped up, but most of the time it was just me and the lady hanging out watching TV. But it was a weird, like, much needed reset where it was like, oh, now you have to take a vacation.
Dude, yeah, okay. So you took the time to relax, recharge, and so you were doing healthy stuff. Okay. And I have two questions, final questions. What is the best piece of advice that you've gotten for stand-up comedy that has helped your career?
It was just be a better comic than the one you were yesterday. And then also, I have on my wall what was it? What's it say? Oh yeah, you don't be a writer that does stand-up, be a stand-up that writes.
Ooh, that's fucking deep. That's wow. Ooh, that's so awesome. Anyways, I love dude, I love that so much. And it's just, yeah, dude, be a stand-up who fucking writes. Yes. Not a writer does stand-up. Yeah, dude, fuck those guys and gals. And non-binaries. Let's fucking put them all onto the fucking cross. And my last question to you is, where can the people find you at home?
My address is Frank Castillo on Instagram, Frank C Comedy on Twitter, and then on it, my Instagram has my link tree. It's got everything. I have a cool podcast called Peaked on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. And then at my home club's the Comedy Store. I'm going to be in Houston, Texas, 16th and 17th, and then next week I'm in the Bay Area. I guess Wednesday. I don't know when this comes out, but I'm going to be in the Bay Area this week. So
tomorrow.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll be in the Bay Area tomorrow, and then Wednesday I'm in San Francisco. The Punchline, I think. No, at the Cobbs, and then Thursday I'm in the Sacramento Cobbs, and then Sacramento Punchline. Yeah, there we go. I always get it mixed up. And then Friday I'm in Chico.
Nice. That's really awesome. I'll be sure to link all of those links to get to your Instagram, to get to your Twitter, to get to your link tree, to get to your podcast. Hope the people go to your shows, go to the Comedy Store. Be sure to check out Frank Castillo. Look up his schedule, follow him on social media. He's hilarious on social media too. Great fucking guy, great friend of mine. And thank you for the great interview. Thank you so much again, Frank, for your time.
Sorry for passing out the other day.
Yeah. No, trust me. It was a blessing in disguise. And I responded as not pissed off as I was, because I wasn't pissed off at you. I was just more like, I'm in the zone. I have my coffee right here. And it was just like, I wasn't mad, but I was like, fuck, man. I was like, fuck, he doesn't want to do it.
No, we had a big breakfast. I think I rolled a fat joint. I took like 2 dabs and like I just passed out. And I remember I woke up at like 2 and I was like, oh, whoa. I think I had a set that I slept through, dude. It was fucking
no, dude. It was a straight up. Frank doesn't want to do my podcast. Frank doesn't respect me as a comedian, but he's sympathetic towards me and he feels sorry for me. So he wants to spare my feelings by ghosting me. And he didn't even leave me on red. He hasn't even seen my fucking message. He's just like, fuck this guy. I'm muting him. Do not. Okay, so that's where my brain went.
Just drooling on myself.
All fucked up, fucking tired from the itis from eating a good meal. And it's just, and then, insecure me is just like, Frank hates me.
Yeah.
And no. And I'm like, so when you hit me up later and you're like, hey, bro, I'm really sorry. What can we do it these days? And I'm like, yeah, we can. So I'm glad this worked out. I'm glad we got to talk. I'm glad that I was able to get such wisdom and knowledge from you. And I just want to state for the record, talking to stoner comedians on my podcast have always been the most enriching episodes where I have gotten the best philosophy about comedy and life. And
I feel like I'm just gonna only just do stoners from now on. Like
Yeah,
if you don't smoke a bunch of weed, I don't want you on my fucking show. I'm just kidding. That's not true. That's not true. But I do want to say though, all of my weed comedy brothers and sisters that have been on my show that smoke hella weed, I've gotten a lot of great philosophy. You being one of them. You have been more than generous with all the comedy gems and wisdom, advice, and everything that you've given out. So I really do appreciate that and your time. And I hope to see you soon. And I'll check you out to the Comedy Store next time I am available and you're there.
Yeah, hit me up. Are you gonna be in Are you in LA now, or are you in the Bay Area?
I'm in Santa Monica, so I'm like 20 minutes away. So yeah, brother. So yeah, I'll hit you up, dude. But yeah, I'd love to check you out. But either way, dude, have a great day. Thank you for doing my podcast.
Cool, dog.
Yeah, brother. Like, well, that was really fun, guys. We want to thank everybody for listening. So please subscribe. Oh, wait. Here's my outro.
Thanks for listening. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, do your boy a favor. Tell your friends. Tell your cool family members. Tell your cool coworkers. Let them know about the podcast. And leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And be sure to follow me on all social media, Puro Papi Pacheco. And check out my website at HispanicTitanic.com for future dates. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.